And so we're going to talk about these remaining 12 games in a minute or less. We'll alternate around the panel. So, Toddy, I'm going to go out of order just to transition perfectly into the Texans beating the Bears 19-13 on Sunday Night Football. What do you think?
I did call this game. I did say that the Texans were going to win. Caleb did not look good in week 1. Week 2, I can't say the same. He looked better than week 1, but he didn't play that well. I thought there was he had some miscommunication with DJ Moore on a couple of routes that he was kind of wide open on that Caleb just missed. Roma Dunze seemed a little bit out of sorts. I really do believe the Bears defense is legit. Their offense needs to score points. This is we're kind of getting down to the nitty-gritty. Like, hey man, we invested a lot. We brought a bunch of guys over, as Kaz already mentioned. I got you DJ Moore. I got you Roma Dunze. I got you Keenan Allen, although he didn't play. Cole Kmet's there. Andre Swift. Hey man, we got to start. Something got to start making. We need to start seeing something. I get it's the second game. I already talked about Tom Brady and all this, how things are getting sped up a little bit, but a lot's invested in Caleb, and he needs to show why he was the number 1 pick, and I believe he can. The O-line's not great. I think he got sacked like 6-7 times last night. That's not good. But we got to see something because there were opportunities. They had an opportunity to win the game last night, and it was just it wasn't there. So Texans are 2-0. They're riding high. D'Amico Ryans has proven why he's one of the best coaches in the league.
Kevin, the Bills beat the Dolphins 31-10 on Thursday Night Football in Miami, and Tua Tagovailoa suffered another concussion. The rest of his career is a big question mark.
Speedy.
Toddy, what did I tell you? What's that I sent you before the game?
For
6-0 on Thursday night, Mr. Josh Allen.
When
the picks came out, Toddy jumped on the bandwagon and said, Kevin, take me all the way. The other 2 guys went for the Dolphins. But for Josh Allen to go in there, and if you ever were to tell me he threw for 175 yards and they win the game, I'm like, the score was 2-0. There's no way. Josh Allen has to do so much more. James Cook, 3 touchdowns. Whoever had that on their parlay, you're the man. Because for him to go out there and stop, touchdown, they had 3 turnovers that resulted in 17 points. So Tua has to take care of the ball. Once he becomes Tua turn the ball over, it's a wrap.
Wow.
Okay, that was a little too good for me to keep my composure. I apologize for the pause there. So, Kath, the Raiders beat the Ravens 26-23, as we alluded to earlier.
Man, shout out my boy, you know what I'm saying, Devontae Adams, bro. They counted my boy out, dog. That game, 9 times out of 10 goes in the Ravens' favor. Lamar, just like many very good teams in week 2, didn't rise to the occasion. They just didn't. It is what it is. It's early in the season. The Ravens will be fine, but they lost a stinker to the Raiders, and I mean, the Raiders simply capitalized. I mean, it's weird because it's like you look at this matchup and were they 9.5-point favors at home against the Raiders, who are supposed to be not good. It's just one of those games where it's like these things happen, man. It happens. It's any given Sunday, and it was this Sunday for the Raiders. Won't happen like this again for the Raiders for a very long time, but it happened against the Ravens. And when it comes to you being heavily favored at home, you got to show up and handle business and just go the fuck home. And the Ravens didn't do that. From what I saw, the Ravens still struggled everywhere on offense, putting the team on Lamar Jackson's back, and they need more than just that because the Raiders were making plays on defense and then moving the ball on offense by just giving the ball to Devontae Adams, who was the best player out of both offenses when it came to that game. So the Raiders took advantage of that, and they won. I wouldn't say we would be surprised, but when the Ravens don't show up, that's what happens. So good win for the Raiders. Ravens will be fine. They're 0-2. They might go on a streak here soon. So
Kevin was the only person to pick this game right. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. I told you we were smoking stogies. I told y'all. Y'all told me I was crazy.
Great job. No one cares.
Proud of you, Kevin.
John does. He's clapping for me. Forget you, Toddy.
Hey, I'm proud of you, Kevin. We'll see if you get that regular season title like Gary did last year, only to blow it in the playoffs. So
Undefeated on Thursday night.
and I
Like
am
Josh Allen.
winless. I am winless on Thursday night. But Toddy, the Browns beat the Jaguars 18-13.
The Jags just figured out so many. There were so many opportunities for them to win this game. Literally, as warm-ups are going on, Evan Ingram pulls his hammy, and he's out for the rest of the game. He's not playing. So that's great. I mean, I guess you could say Deshaun Watson looked better in this game, but I mean, this game kind of felt like somebody had to win it, and the Browns just ended up being on that side, and they're 1-1, and I guess they're competing for second place in their division.
I guess so. And Kevin, the Jets, Jets, Jets beat the Titans 24-17.
You know, I was talking about Mr. Mayonnaise and his turnover, and he yet again, with a chance to put the game away, decides to pitch the ball backwards to his running back instead of just taking the sack and taking the cross. Will Levis is going to be the downfall of this team. I know it was a lot of good games last year, and Toddy and I he got to start over Tannehill. He needs to be the guy, and it doesn't work for everybody. Putting the young guy out there doesn't work for everybody. I am baffled that this happened again because they had him on the books. They could have beat this Jets. They could have came out of this game 1-0 or 1-1, but the Jets, Breece Hall got going. I think his name is Brandon Allen. He's the Wisconsin running back. I remember him vividly, all the Big Ten games that I've seen him just go nuts. So to see him do it on the next level,
20 years old.
Because it was the oldest player thrown to the youngest player, and Aaron Rodgers when he threw the pass and touchdown to him. But I really need this Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers to get going. We saw that with Devontae Adams, he would just go to him constantly, and for Garrett Wilson to have 56 yards. It's good enough to beat the Titans, but down the stretch, it might be hard. And with their latest injury with Jermaine Johnson III tearing his Achilles, Hassan Reddick, here's your blank check, sir. We'll see you at practice on Monday. We ain't got another choice.
Yep, that's how it's been, and it'll be interesting to see how the Jets continue to treat Garrett Wilson, because even though everyone knew that Aaron Rodgers was going to Devontae Adams, they couldn't stop it because they had that kind of chemistry. And so we'll see if Wilson and Rodgers can develop that. But Kaz, the Seahawks go to the East Coast and they beat the Patriots 23-20 in overtime.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I took the Patriots to win. After seeing what the Patriots did week 1, I was like, you know what? Let me put my bias aside and just assume that the Patriots defense is legit. Even though they don't have really an offense, I think that, at home they can get this win, and it came down to overtime, last second kick. I was almost right, but I mean, Seattle won, and the fact that I picked the Patriots to win, like barely, I think I picked the Patriots to win. I picked the Patriots to what the hell's the game at? Oh, sorry, to win by 3. I had 16-13 against Seattle. It was within that range, and it just came down to a field goal for Seattle to win. I'm not mad at it. I think the Patriots is going to be that annoying team like they have been in the past to beat really, really good teams when they have no business beating them, messing up playoff potential and stuff like that. So shout out to the Pats for fighting, man. I mean, you're 1-1, and you're proving to the rest of the league already early on that you're not going to just do what I thought they were going to do early. We had our previous shows, and I said the Patriots are going to win like 2 or 3 games. No, they might win about 4 or 5, if not 6. So, I mean, New England, you guys with Jacoby Brissett have a defense and a guy in the backfield that's Ramondre Stevenson, more than willing and able to win you a game as long as your defense shows up and the play calling is right. So, I'm not surprised that the Seahawks won, but at the same time, Patriots played a good game. So, it is what it is.
Throw it to Jalen Polk.
Yeah.
Seriously. And Toddy, I'm sorry because someone has to talk about this stinker from the NFC least, but the Commanders beat the Giants 21-18.
I started Jaden Daniels in my fantasy because I saw somebody, a guru guy, because this is only my first year playing the fantasy, was saying, "Hey,
Second year. It's your second.
This is really my first real year drafting." But they were like, "Hey, start Jaden Daniels over Mahomes and over Lamar," and I was like, "God, let me take a swing at it." And
I did too.
It is what it is. But I thought Jaden Daniels looked all right. The kicker for the Giants got hurt apparently, and they knew about it and still decided not to pick up a kicker. And they were unable to use their kicker for extra points for regular kicks. So the Giants were kind of fucked from the beginning, I guess, because he got hurt on the opening kickoff. So they didn't have a kicker the whole game, and I guess kickers are important. So Daniel Jones still isn't good, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see how long this lasts. I did see a stat that Bryce Young got 18 games. This is Daniel Jones' 65th game starting in the NFL. So take that for what you will. He did win a playoff game, though. So there were some good times there.
And Kevin, shout out to Khalil because the Packers beat the Colts 16-10.
I will fucking scream this from the rooftop. Anthony Richardson is just a running back. My man cannot do anything intermediate. There are no 10 to 15. There's no check downs. If it's not 70 yards, he don't want it. And it's becoming embarrassing at this point because they had a chance at the end of the game to still win.
Yeah.
For him to play that bad and for them to still say a touchdown wins this game is embarrassing. For Jonathan Taylor, for him to get them going, for them to have a Michael Pittman, Alex Pierce, a Donian Mitchell, they have all the weapons around him to be successful. But he's missing simple out routes. This team is going to go as far as Anthony Richardson takes them. Because without a quarterback, we all know we've all had our season or a couple games without a quarterback. It sucks. So if you don't have a quarterback, it's going to be hard to win games. But the Packers, for them to be able to win this game with Malik Willis, you can tell that the game plan was simple. Don't fuck this up. Screen here. You don't got nothing. Run. Josh Jacobs, you're going to carry this pill 25 times and you're going to fucking like it, regardless. So for him to go out there and rush for 150 plus, I believe, with no touchdowns, killed me in fantasy. But they got a lot going. They're going to focus on this rushing game. Marshawn Lloyd, Toddy's guy at USC, I think he's going to be a big rotational piece in this run game because with Jordan Love being out for who knows how long, they're going to rely on this run game. And you can't just run Josh Jacobs to the ground. But a lot of good things to say, but the Colts have to figure this out because they will go as far as Anthony Richardson takes them.
A little USC love from Kev.
Yep, exactly. And Kaz, I apologize for setting this game up like this, but I have to. In the matchup between the team that eliminated the Eagles from the playoffs last year against the team that eliminated them, we have the Buccaneers defeating the Lions 20-16 in Detroit, getting a little bit of revenge.
That's fucked up, Shaun. You didn't have to do it like that.
Oh,
he had to. Yeah, he had to.
I had to.
Oh, my God. Before you mentioned the cast, Shaun threw a crazy shade. It was a couple days ago. I didn't say anything in the group chat, but when Quinn Ewers went down, and Shaun's like, well, we saw Jalen Hurts get pulled by Tua. We catch strays all the time.
God damn, brother.
Hey, man.
God damn.
That was
many other examples you could have came up with.
That was a college football example. But Kevin, since you brought that up, I just saw this graphic on Twitter. We look at Mac Jones, a.k.a. McCorkle. He's a backup. Jalen Hurts, 2-9 in his last 11 games. Bryce Young, benched. Tua Tagovailoa, not as funny, CTE. But Kaz, I'm sorry. Go ahead. We were talking about the Lions losing to the Buccaneers 20-16.
The Bucs are real. Now I'll say that. I said I said on Twitter, I said, man, actually with my weekly picks, I said, is Baker Mayfield a good quarterback? Are the Bucs real? Is Rashad Wright a top running back? Well, entering week 3 now, I would say all those things are true. Baker is a good quarterback. Rashad White's a good running back, and the Buccaneers are a good fucking team, and they're well coached.
You going to in this game?
you go, what's up?
Mike Evans was a ghost in this game.
Yes, and they still won. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. You go to the fucking Detroit, who was just in a nail-biter of a game to go to the fucking Super Bowl last year, and you win without your best fucking guy on offense making any splash. The Buccaneers have something special going on for them right now. If they're not heavily favored, they should be heavily favored to win the NFC South. And even though Derek Carr and the Saints are looking really good, I don't foresee the Saints continuing doing what they're doing when it comes to away games. Now, granted, the Saints did just win in Jerry World somehow, some way. But I said in the beginning of the year, Dallas is not the same Dallas they were 2, 3, 4, or 5 years ago. They took a step back. So therefore, they showed up and punched them in the mouth, and the Saints have a good offense. Let's just call it what it is. They have a good, solid offense. They have guys everywhere, and Derek Carr's going to let it sling. It is what it is. As for the Bucs have had the same receiving core for how many years now?
3 or 4.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then Baker Mayfield just got there 2 years ago. It ain't like they had a notable quarterback that's been there for a long ass time. It's not the case. But right now we got to call it what it is. The Bucs are a good team. Baker Mayfield is a very competent quarterback. It's not we can call him a good quarterback. He knows what he's doing. He's a veteran now. This ain't new to him. He knows the speed of the game. He's not scared. There's no more nerves. Baker Mayfield as a I would say hater, not that I hate him in real life, you know what I'm saying, but like as someone who doubted him, it's proving me wrong. You go to Detroit, handle business, now you're 2-0. Oh yeah. It was unexpected, but when it happened after watching the game, I was like, I get it. The Bucs are real. Point blank period. The Bucs are real. So good one by the Bucs. They didn't have to put up 35, 45 points to win this game. No, their defense stepped up and they got enough plays done on offense to win a game. And that's the recipe to having a good team right there. We saw tonight with Philadelphia, where we're questioning a lot of shit. Where it's like, low scoring game, nothing crazy. Who can secure the game when it comes down the wire? Well, the Bucs did it again. So Bucs are a good team. Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback. I'm gonna say it until I can't anymore.
Podfather, I apologize because the rotation has brought you another stinker. This one courtesy of the NFC Best, as the Cardinals beat the Rams 41-10.
Marvin Harrison Jr. has arrived. I never said he wasn't good, guys. I just thought that Malik Neighbors, who also did have a monster game, they just lost, is better. Now, Marvin Harrison is going to probably pop a little bit more because he has a better quarterback. Kaz had mentioned that earlier in the year. Kyler is running around making plays. He looks great. Now, the Rams are very beat up. Cooper Kupp is hurt. Puka Nacua is hurt. They got a couple injuries on defense. It's looking kind of rough for the Rams, and they've been in these games. Like they went into overtime with the Lions last week. They're getting the short end of the stick, and they got to play the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday, so we'll see how that goes. They're in danger of starting 0-3. Now, the Cardinals, on the other hand, played an amazing game. I am a fan of their coach, who I always forget the name of.
Jonathan Gannon.
Big Gannon. I always want to say Shane Steichen, but he's definitely the coach for the
he's definitely the other one.
But Big Gannon, man, he's I think he's an all right coach, if I do may add. But yeah, the Cards look good. And is Marvin Harrison Jr. going to score 2 touchdowns every week? I don't know about that, but
that's tough.
I guess it is Kyler Murray's new job to give Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball.
And not only did he get him the ball, but the former first-round pick of the Oakland Athletics looked fantastic out there. So shout out to Kyler Murray. But Kevin, before you get up out of here, I want to hear your thoughts on the Chiefs beating the Bengals 26-25.
I don't know what it is, man, but for fantasy tight ends, it's just not giving what I need.
It never is.
To have one catch for 5 yards. I know a lot of people are going to say, the Chiefs don't win if they don't get that call. The Bengals look like shit, but so did the Chiefs. And for the Chiefs to come in here and win a game like that, in my opinion, makes them more scary. Isaiah Pacheco goes out. No Hollywood, no problem. We're going to get it done. It was the big Xavier Worthy game week 1. At week 2, he was non-existent. But they're making it do with what it does, and they're giving real modern-day Patriots because they would win those ugly games. They're winning by 1 point, 26-25. They're coming in here and they're winning the hard game. So, yeah, everyone wants to sit here and say as long as the Chiefs don't win a third Super Bowl, this season is a success. But the Chiefs are showing week in after week their championship experience. And Big Red, it isn't going to fuck this up. He understands what they have. And for them to win a game with Travis Kelce, or to win 2 games with Travis Kelce being non-existent, shows a lot about this team, and they should be scary moving forward.
All right, Kevin, thanks for joining us. We know you got to get out of here to get up early. We appreciate you. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, it was nachos.
You guys have a good one, man. I'm going to go figure that situation out right now, Toddy. You guys have a good one.
All right, so we'll see Kevin again next week. Kaz, if you could close us out with the final game of the speedy Week 2 NFL recap before we close out this episode with Vonnie's Hotline. The last game that we have yet to get to is the Steelers beating the Broncos 13-6 in a barn burner.
Yeah, of course. Typical Steelers fashion, just not a great team, but find ways to win. Shout out Mike Tomlin. That's it. That's the whole game. That's the whole premise is 13. Mike Tomlin will never win a game 45-0. He'll never win a game 28-27. He will beat you 15-10. 13-7, 12-5, some weird score. Just I don't know how he does it, but you know what? That just says a lot for him as a head coach. He wins when he needs to win, and it matters. And he's in a very difficult division. I took the Broncos to pull off this upset, just going on a win. But mind you, guys, I'll tell you right now, I went 6-10 this week, guys. 6-10 on my picks.
Tough.
6-10.
I don't even want to count mine.
Yeah.
I said in my video, my weekly picks going into week 2, I said there's no way I finished worse than 8-8 like I did week 1. Well, I did. 6-10. I picked the Broncos to pull off the upset against the Steelers because the Steelers don't have a good offense, but they have a coach that knows how to win. I think that Mike Tomlin's greatness, even though we know he's great, goes even more so underappreciated. They are 2-0 with a quarterback controversy in Pittsburgh. No, they don't have a top 20 possibly wide receiver. They don't have a top 15 running back. George Pickens is probably not. He's not top 15 for sure. I'll say that right now. Bottom line, he's not a top 15 guy, but it's what it is.
Talent's there.
Talent's there, but we got to see it. Deontay Johnson ain't done no more to help him out. You got Najee Harris and Jalen Warren in the backfield. They're not. I mean, why did the Steelers win? It's because of coaching. You give Mike Tomlin this same Eagles team tonight. Who wins this game tonight, guys? Who wins?
Probably.
Who wins? Philadelphia wins.
The Steelers do have PJ Watt in their team. I feel like he's
that's
game changer.
You damn right. And you know who else has a guy like that? Who went off for 5 sacks in one game pretty much? Aiden Hutchinson, and they lost Detroit. Mike Tomlin finds a way to fucking win games, dog. I don't know how 100%. He does. He finds ways to win, and it is what it is. You can't discredit that at all. Since he's been in the league, he's never had a losing season. They're 2-0 right now, the Steelers are. In the hardest division of football. Last year, that division, as an entirety, finished with a positive record, and they didn't make the playoffs. And now they're 2-0. The Steelers are a fucking problem. I don't know why they are, but they are. It is what it is. You got to call them what it is. They beat the shit out of the Broncos. Well, they beat the Broncos, and I took the Broncos to win. It didn't happen. I'm not surprised. I went on a whim. And until a team shows up to drop 24 plus on Pittsburgh, if it's 20 or less, the Steelers are winning because Mike Tomlin is a fucking genius. So good game by the Steelers. Mike Tomlin has proven why he deserves to be in Pittsburgh and to be a head coach for another year. Pittsburgh's 2-0, and they deserve it.
And Pittsburgh will be at home this upcoming week against the LA Chargers and Justin Herbert. And a lot of people, including myself, would probably pick the Chargers to win that game. But as Toddy was saying, it's going to be a good game. But it also could be a straight-up trap game because even though they got Harbaugh now, the Chargers, until they prove otherwise, are the Chargers, and they will continue to lose the games that they shouldn't. And so this has Steelers 14-12 or 15-14 all over it. Chris Boswell, 5 field goals for the win. You got it right here, right now, just like he did in week 1 against the Falcons, hitting 6. And then the Steelers play at the Colts. Anthony Richardson still needs to prove himself. And then even the week after that, the Steelers, they host the Cowboys, who obviously
Could the Steelers be undefeated by the time they play the Cowboys?
They might be 4-0, going on 5. Then they play at the Raiders. Steelers always are at home when they play the Raiders. That can be 6-0. They host the Jets. Who knows? If they get past the Jets, who knows? Then after they play the Jets, they host the Giants, and then they play at the Commanders. The Steelers don't have a real opponent until November 17th when they play the Ravens. And the Ravens just lost to the Raiders. Steelers, man, sneaky. We're going to have to deal with Gary in the comments for weeks. We're going to have to hear from Cordell in the group chat for weeks because the Pittsburgh Steelers under Mike Tomlin, as Kaz pointed out, they don't have losing seasons. Point blank, period. And as Gray Wolf says, Tomlin effect.